Hello everyone, so recently I've been collecting resources at Miscellanea and wondered what's the best way to manage kingdom for resources. Miscellanea is a kingdom located in the Fremnik province which can be traversed through by boat in Relica near the dock next to the boat for Waterbirth and Lunar Island. In order to gain access to managing resources in Miscellanea, two quests are required which are Throne of Miscellanea and Royal Trouble. By completing Throne of Miscellanea, 10 workers are given to start managing resources, but by completing Royal Trouble, an additional 5 workers are given for a total of 15 workers. The quest Royal Trouble is not mandatory, however, having access to 15 workers is very beneficial if wanting to collect more resource. To start managing kingdoms, speak to Advisor Grimm located in Miscellanea Castle on the top floor. Before beginning to manage kingdom, there are a few key factors to know in order to understand how collecting resources work. Approval rating is one factor that contributes to how many resources the workers collect depending on how high the percentage is, up to 100% at maximum, and decreases by a small amount every day. Money is another factor which influences the amount of resources obtained depending on how much is deposited into the coffers, with 750,000 at minimum to 7.5 million at maximum. The last factor is determined by which resource is selected by each number of workers to collect. Now that I've explained how collecting resources work, we can begin kingdom management. Speaking to Advisor Grimm gives several options to choose from: collecting resources, managing resources, basic tutorial, etc. Selecting Manage Resource gives a window interface which allows depositing money into the coffers and distributing workers among each available resource. With the completion of Throne of Miscellanea quest, the maximum amount of money that can be deposited into the coffers is 5 million, but by completing Royal Trouble, this increases the amount to 7.5 million. Any amount of cash can be deposited into the coffers, however, 500,000 is a minimum with one quest completed and 750,000 with both quests completed. This is to keep efficiency with payments for the workers. How payments work in Managing Kingdom is that 50,000 or 75,000 are withdrawn every day in order to pay the workers for collecting resources. The amount is 10% of 500,000 and 10% of 750,000 respectively. To keep explanations easy and simple, let's assume both quests are completed for best results. If money in the coffers is less than 750,000, then the amount withdrawn will be 10% of the money currently held inside. For instance, 675,000 coins are in the coffers, which means 67,500 will be withdrawn on the next payment, which is 10% of 675,000. Due to this amount being withdrawn, less resource is received since the full payment is not taken. On the other hand, if 1 million coins are currently in the coffers, then 75,000 is only withdrawn despite payment being 10% of the current value. There are 15 workers in total, which means 5,000 coins is being paid for each worker on a daily day-to-day basis. So we want to keep at least 750,000 coins or more deposited in the coffers for maximum efficiency of resource collected. Now we can move on to distributing workers among each resource. Workers can be put into any particular resource if so desired, but only 10 workers is the maximum amount that can be put onto one resource. With more workers selected on the same resource means the output amount upon collection is increased. The goal is to put 10 workers on one particular resource for maximum efficiency and the leftover 5 on another. If for any reason you do not have enough money in the coffers, then you can opt to place workers on idle, which decrease the amount of payments withdrawn. Since 75,000 are withdrawn every day, the objective is to select resources which profit in return more than the amount being taken. If the cash return for a particular resource is less than the amount spent, then the resource is not worth investing for collection. Besides having the selected resource desired and money deposited into the coffers, approval rating is critical in keeping the amount of resources collected at maximum. Approval rating at 100% means each resource upon payment collection will be given at the highest amount. For example, 892 maple logs are collected every day at 100% approval rating with 10 workers selected on wood. At 112 days, I collected 88,504 maple logs in Kingdom with an approval rating of 96%. On the next day, I collected 89,369 maple logs with the same approval rating of 96%. This resulted in 865 maple logs obtained in total, which means 27 maple logs was lost had approval rating been at 100%. The amount of resources collected depends on the approval rating current upon payment. So if we take 865 divided by 892 for maple logs, this gives us 0.9697, which is 96%. Thus, the amount of resources received is based on percentage of approval rating. The two things to keep in mind if wanting resources at best efficiency is having approval rating at 100% and making sure the amount of cash in the coffers is over 750,000. Now the question is, which resource is worth investing money? Let's take a look at an Excel spreadsheet which I made, which was 113 days worth in Kingdom. The loot received for each particular resource is the same, but the amount collected may vary per person. For each resource, I've placed 5 and 10 workers in respectively in order to see how much profit can be made. I've also noted down the prices for each item and the total sum of money made for having 10 and 5 workers in that resource. The reason I've chosen 10 and 5 is for ease in simple calculation for the results. As well, with the total sum, I've added the profit made per day for the 10 and 5 workers placed in the resource. Keep in mind that the profit made is an approximate value based on the Grand Exchange prices, but these prices may fluctuate up or down. For the most part, the only resource not worth investing money in is herbs on flax and farm due to less money than the amount withdrawn per day. Any other resource is profitable to invest money towards for collecting. In terms of loot for bird's nests given from wood and hardwood, the rewards given are completely random, so profit may be more or less. Currently, the best resource to invest in is coal, which makes the most money out of all the others, and hardwood on mahogany as the second most. So the ideal goal would be to put 10 workers on coal and the remaining 5 on hardwood with mahogany only. A very helpful tip is that when collecting resources, you can change to a different choice other than the current one selected if prices on certain resources rise and you want to have the best profit. Overall, managing Kingdom is very easy to start making money and requires only a small amount of effort, which is worth doing in the long run in order to make profit. Some starting cash is required, but the money spent is paid back in return. So that concludes my analysis on Kingdom management. If there are any questions, feel free to post them in the comments below. Also, let me know which resources you've picked for Kingdom management or how often you check Kingdom. And as always, thanks for watching and have an awesome day.